Welcome to the lesson recording for week 3, and you can see that week 3 for computer fundamentals is April 15 through 21. And in week 3 we're going to wrap up unit 6. Last week we did sections 1, 2, 3, and 4 in unit 6, and this week we're going to do section 5 and section 6. Now there's not much work for this week, so this would be a great week for you to catch up on other work. Just a couple reminders. I have week 4 open, week 5 open, although I don't have the Class Connect write-ups done for those. I do have those open for you if you want to get started on the work. I have a link here that's called Project Videos and Sample Screenshots. So you can see here's a sample of the Project 2 work from last week. And here's a video on how to create tables and charts. And here's the screenshot of Project 3 work that you'll be doing this week. So remember, I try to post all these things that'll help you out with doing the work. Okay, getting back to week 3. So again, week 3 we're going to look at section 5 and do Project 3. Then we're going to look at section 6. And we're skipping the discussions in this class, so don't worry about that. So we'll go through section 6, and then you have the unit exam. And remember, always use the exam preview before you do the exam. So if I move down here, there's the unit 6 exam preview. So we're getting right into the week 3 work. So I'm going to look at the week 3 Class Connect write-up first so we can answer these questions. And by now you should know how to turn in the write-ups. You turn them as text in the Dropbox, not as an attached file. And by now you should know how to do all of this. Okay, so the questions we need to answer in section 5: difference between a pie chart and a bar chart, usefulness of a stacked column chart, example of a set of data to show on a histogram, how is the data in a Pareto chart organized, and what are the 4 things to keep in mind when formatting charts. Okay, we'll think about those things. So now we're moving into charts. So you remember last week in sections 1 through 4 talked about different types of charts. Now we're going to do a little bit more on charts. So we're going to look at different types so you can present different type of data or present data differently. So you're going to identify types of charts and select the appropriate chart for the data presented and format charts in Excel. So a pie chart. Pie chart is used, you can see, to show comparisons between different slices or different sections of data. So there's an example of a pie chart. We don't know what they asked. This could be like, what do you think about not being able to chew gum in school? So these are the votes. Or you could have a pie chart on color of students' hair. You have brown, blonde, black, red. And then you have a pie chart on that. So that's what a pie chart shows, is it shows different chunks of information. And then a bar chart gives different values of data. So a bar chart, you can see, can be used differently, because a bar chart, we're not looking at all of it as a whole. Although we could make a bar chart out of this. We could do all of our utilities for the whole year, and then January would be 1 bar, 1 pie, February would be a piece of a pie, March would be a piece of a pie, etc. But bar charts are better to compare things like this, because we can easily compare the different values. So you can see how a bar chart can compare different values across time, but then a pie chart compares the piece of a whole. Now, making charts in Excel. Now, you did a chart in the last unit, but now you're going to make some more charts. And you're going to use the same data you did before. So this is an explanation of how to do charts. I also have a video in the announcements on how to do charts. I had that for week 2. But most of you probably have a different version of Excel than I have, so your commands are going to be slightly different. If you do have a version of Excel that's different than this video shows, you're going to need to probably go into Google and do a search on creating charts in Office 2003. or something like that. Or if you have OpenOffice, you're going to probably need to do a search on how to create a chart using OpenOffice, because I cannot possibly have a video for every type of software students might use. But this video will help you create the chart. And now we're going to look at different types of charts. And if you looked at the way some charts are done, some charts can be done with what's called a stacked column chart. And a stacked chart will give you, it makes it easy to see the total comparisons. So like on that example back here, let's go back, was it on slide 3, slide 4 maybe. See, we could have made this a stacked chart. We could have put the electric bill on top of the gas bill, and that would show your total utilities. So that's how a stacked chart can be used, and how a stacked chart is different. So again, the stacked chart allows you to see totals more easily, but not individuals. So a stacked chart is hard to see individuals, but you can see totals better. Now watch this video, and that's going to tell you about about column charts and bar charts. A histogram. Histogram is a chart that shows the results of data in different category sets. It's a bar graph, and it uses frequency of data. So you can see that a histogram, this is talking about enrollment in a class. And these are the let's see, what does this show? This histogram represents the number of students enrolled in classes at a local school. So there are 30 students, ages 21 through 30. There are 2 students, ages 11 through 20, and 1 student under 10. Strange, I don't know what kind of class this would be. And then there are 10 students, ages 31 through 40, 2 students older than 40. Now the Class Connect write-up question asks you, what is a histogram, what does it represent, and give an example of a histogram, not like this example in class, so you need to think about that. So what other thing can you do using a range like this and use a histogram? A Pareto chart. The values are arranged in descending order, so biggest to smallest. So that's the thing about a Pareto chart. And the nice thing is that it can be used for statistics, engineering, things like that. So what this Pareto chart can do is that, like, it shows from the greatest response down to the least response. So the reasons to bike to work for your health had the greatest response. So organizing things like this makes it much easier for us to see the values. Now it could have been ordered with all these items down here below. They could have been in alphabetic order, but we wouldn't be able to see this really great comparison of going from the lowest to the highest. So that's how a Pareto chart goes. It sets things up from the biggest to the smallest in descending order. So some guides to formatting charts, some things to think about. Good charts have a few things in common. They use color, easy to read, avoid 3D and unnecessary clutter, and avoid redundant titles and legends. You don't have to have the same words in your titles and legends. If it's in there once, that's probably fine if it explains what your chart is all about. So in summary, we looked at pie charts, vertical, horizontal bar charts, stack bar chart, Paretos, and histograms. And now comes the assignment, but before we do the assignment, let's go look at the Class Connect write-up and see if we answered the question. Difference between a pie chart and a bar chart, we talked about that. Usefulness of a stacked column graph, we talked about that. Example of data that can be used in a histogram, not the same one as the lesson, so come up with an example for that. How's data in a Pareto chart organized? We talked about that. And what are 4 things to keep in mind when formatting charts? I showed that to you too. Okay, now this is Project 3, and Project 3 is built on Project 2. So you go back, you open up your Project 2 assignment. And if you remember Project 2, That was comparing gasoline prices between Colorado prices and national prices, and you ended up with a bar chart on that. Now what you're going to do, you're going to add to that, you're going to make a vertical column chart, a horizontal bar chart of the same data, and you're going to put them all on the same worksheet so they all fit nice next to each other. Then you're going to take that picture, that image that has 3 graphs on it, and you're going to ask 10 people which of the 3 charts they like best, and you're going to make a table like this. And then once you make this table, then you're going to create a pie chart out of these survey results. And then you're going to save it as Unit 6 Assignment 3 and submit it. Now here's the assignment document. So let's take a look at the assignment document. Well, it looks like it's a little bit slow on that. Try that again. There we go, the assignment document. So that tells you everything you're going to do. And don't turn it in until you've done these things. Make sure you have the data displayed properly. Make sure they're sized similar to each other and they're next to each other. Make sure the pie chart is the results of surveying 10 people. Don't submit it if it doesn't fulfill those requirements. Need that. Then to see how it's going to be graded, so you can obviously take a look at, well, these things don't want to open up very easily. Come on, Word, open. Okay, there you go. So you can see they're going to be graded on it. Similar document they had before. And my computer is not cooperating very much today. So anyway, within the class, you know where to find those documents to help you on it. Now this assignment, this is an example of one that I've created to give you a screenshot. So if I go to the announcements, and right down here, project videos and sample screenshots, if I click that, here's a multiple chart assignment. Project 3, this is what yours should look like, something similar to this. Now yours may be different depending on the data you used. Remember when you first did it, you had data like this, and you had this line chart. Now you're going to take this data and you're going to make a horizontal bar chart and a vertical bar chart. So the vertical bar chart, the horizontal bar chart, this is the original one right here. And then here's how you're going to do the votes. If you can see over here, what I've done, I've created the data over here on the right, and then I made that into this chart. And here are the directions. If you follow directions, you will see what you're supposed to do with this. So this is what yours should look like, similar to this. And remember, there are videos in the lesson that show you how to make the horizontal and the vertical bar charts. And again, if you're using OpenOffice or a different version than is demonstrated in the course, you're going to have to go find the demonstrations to help you do it with the version that you're using, version of Excel you're using. Okay, so that's the more charts, Project 3 assignment we went over. Okay, now, Section 6, when to use a tool. Let's go back to the write-up first. Check these questions out. So number 7, explain what an implementation tool is and give 3 examples. What is a design tool? Give 3 examples. What is the technique to use to plan complex presentations and documents? Explain how a storyboard is different from a regular outline. So we'll answer those as we go along. So now we're in Section 6. In Section 6, when to use what types of tools? And again, that means like what types of applications on your computer. So we're going to analyze the problem, determine which tool is appropriate, select appropriate applications for the problem. So the difference between design and implementation. An implementation tool, that's anything that feels like an extension of your hand, like a pencil. It's an extension of your hand. So you can read about implementation tools right here. And then a design tool, that's something that helps you plan, evaluate your ideas. So a design tool can be a presentation, video, a website, etc. So some examples of design tools: a storyboard, idea web, outline, sketch, or drawing. So those are examples of design tools, and they help you create these products. So those are design tools, and then up here it talks about implementation tools. Outline. An outline is really a good tool to use for complex presentations and documents. That's one great technique, because an outline shows you the flow of your document. It shows you the flow of your work. You have one line per section, and you make it hierarchical, meaning from it starts with the biggest ideas and breaks it down into smaller ideas. So an outline is a really good way to work on complex ideas. So here's an example of an outline. So you can see there's somebody wrote this. Introduction might be the first paragraph. Why exercise improves health might be the second paragraph. Types of exercise, third paragraph. So you can see how making proper outlines can really help you with complex work that you need to do. Now, a storyboard is something different. A storyboard is a visual outline. So a storyboard, you draw images and things like that to explain your ideas. Storyboarding is used often in web design. Those of you that have done game design with me, we did storyboarding in game design. So that's what a storyboard is it's a visual outline as opposed to a text outline like a word processor outline would be. A storyboard is a graphic outline with pictures. Sketches. So sketches are used in a storyboard. So if you're doing an assignment where visual tools are better, then obviously you would use sketches to work on that storyboard. Different types of technology tools. This talks about sketches where you can put them through a scanner, to turn them into graphic files that you can use. So summary. So just like a builder, doesn't just start off building a house, they have to have a plan in place. Well, same thing when you're designing good computer work, using design tools versus implementation tools, outlines of storyboards, and sketches we talked about. Discussion, we're skipping the discussions in the class, so don't worry about that. What I've tried to do is integrate the discussions into the Class Connect write-ups. You'll see that. So a review in this unit: Rudolph rule, Goldilocks rule, you remember those. Different types of charts, we looked at those. Difference between design tools and implementation tools, we learned what a wizard was. So we've learned all that stuff, haven't we? So finally, in this unit, the unit exam, it's the last thing you do. It's over here on the left. And please do the exam preview before. Go into the exam preview, find the answers, then go do the exam. You do not get to redo exams because I give you the exam preview. There's no reason for me to allow you to redo the exams. So make sure you're ready to get to work on those. So that's all you have for this week. Again, not a lot of work. So that was week 3. So this could be a catch-up week for you for week 1 and week 2 if you haven't done all that stuff. So again, for this week, you're turning in project 3 and you're doing the Unit 6 exam. So that's all I have for you, everyone. I look forward to your work coming in. Thank you.